will finish today.
Recording in progress.
All right. In the today's session, we are going to discuss about partial class in C# language, which is the part of object-oriented programming in the C# as a part of .NET. And we'll discuss one more concept. In the partial class, we have concept called partial method. What it is that? So first question is what is a partial class in C# and why it is needed, and when it was introduced by the Microsoft. By the Microsoft. Observe. The partial class is a concept was introduced by the Microsoft as a part of C# 2.0. C# 2.0. So here I can say partial class is a new feature that was introduced or that has been added in a C# 2.0 version. Current C# version is 10. It's almost 8 version before it was introduced. So initially it was not available. When C# was introduced with the 1.0 version, that time this feature was not available. Partial class is a new feature that was introduced in C# 2.0, which allows us to define a class on multiple files that is we can physically split the content of class into different files, but even physically they are divided physically they are divided, but logically it is one single unit only. It is one single unit only. Remember it. This is very simple, right? Definition about what is a partial class. First of all, partial class is a new feature that was introduced in C# 2.0, which allows us to define a class instead of keeping one file in multiple files. Why so? In real time, if you're developing any big application, enterprise application, you require a class with so many properties, methods, fields, dealing with a number of operations into that. Keeping into one file, the file become very large. So going through the file, you need to expend more time, right? And maintenance become much more difficult. So there is one concept they have given saying that physically the class can be split into multiple files, but logically they are all one single unit only. So one class only can have into multiple .csv file, and in one file what we have the class There you write only those those methods which are related to that file. And for that class, other member, other method you keep into the other file. So large class can be split physically into different files, but logically they are all available as part of the one single unit, one single class. Yes, this is what known as, what is it? What do you
Partial
call partial
class.
class? All right. A class, a class in which code, in which code, a class in which code can be written, can be written, can be written in two or more files, two or more files, is known as, is known as a partial class. Is known as, what is it? A partial class. Can I repeat? A class in which code can be written in two or more files, minimum two or more than two files, maybe 3 files, 4 files, 5 files, is known as, what is it? Partial class. To make any class as a partial, in order to make, in order to make any, what is it, class as a partial, we need to use the one keyword, what is the keyword? Partial. We need to use the one keyword partial. Using this keyword, you can make a partial class by splitting into different physical files, minimum two or more than two. This is just a definition of the partial class, what it is. This is just definition of partial class, what it is. So partial class is a special feature of the CSAR which was introduced into the CSAR 2.0. It provides a special ability to implement the functionality of a single class into multiple files, and all these files are combined into a single class file when the application is compiled. A partial class is created by using one keyword called partial. This keyword is also useful to split the functionality of methods, right? Interfaces, structure into multiple files, right? Syntax to use the partial class: use access modifier, partial keyword, and then what is it? Name of the class. So if you create any class with a partial keyword, right? So the class is not fully, maybe the class containing data member and member method available to some other file. So when you compile, compiler will look for this partial class available into how many files. So all together taking at compilation time, making one single unit. But physically, it is kept into how many files? More than one file. More than, what is it? One file. Just to provide simplification of the large class into real-time development. So let's see what I can say. Partial class allows us to split a class definition into two or, what is it, more files. Partial class allow us to write split a class definition into two or, what is it, more files. Into what? More files. Minimum two must be there, or more than two. It is also possible to split the definition of a struct type, nothing but a structure, which is used for creating a lightweight type with a small type. If you want to work, you go for the struct, which is the comes under value type. Class used for the large type, complex data and all, which are the reference types, right? So it is also possible possible to split the definition of a what is it struct or an interface or an what is it interface over two or more source file, over two or more what is it source files. So don't think that this partial only can apply onto class definition, can be also applied on a struct, can be also applied on what is it interface to keep into what more than two or more than two physical files. So this is very simple definition about what it is, what is a partial class. Now understanding partial class with example, right? So for this, let's create one console application, or already we have console application. Then in that, create one file name employee.cs. Now tell me, I want to work with employee data, right? So I want to create employee class. For employee, we may have many more details, like employee have right personal details, employee have what is educational details, employee have contact information, employee have work experience details. So these all, instead of keeping into one physical file, you split this employee class into 2-3 different files and give the file name as what employee personal info.cs, and the class name is employee. In that have only personal info data and their property and method. And for the same employee class, required content information, related data, method, property into other file. File name is what employee contact info.cs. So by looking at these two files, people easily can jump to the file and they can work related to that, instead of having everything in one file and scroll top to right, top to bottom, bottom to top, and see one by one, right? That become more complexity to maintain the project. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Jesus.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show first of all in general to work on the employee. In general, work on the employee class. We are keeping all the information. You are keeping the what is it? All the information, right or not?
Jesus.
Or in the one employee class, we can have all the data member, and they're all property. Through property, you expose the data member, which are the private encapsulation, right? And all their methods you can keep into the another physical file for the same class, and you can work on that, right?
Jesus.
So that is also maybe possible. So here what I'm going to do that, understanding partial classes, partial class in C# with an what is it example. For this, create a console application, add a class file with the name what employee.cs to the project with the following code, right or not? See what I'm saying? Create a console application, right? Add a class file with the name, the name is what employee.cs to the project, to the what project with following code, with the following code, right, as shown below, as shown below. So coming over here in this console application, one right click, add option, new item. Which new item? Class item. So first available as what? Class. First available as what is it? Class. And giving the class name as what? Employee.cs is a class file name, I can say, not class name. And by default in this file, one class created with the same name of the file, that is employee. That is what? Employee.
Employee.
So name is space declaration, and then what? In that one class available with the name of what is it? Employee. And here I'm going to make this one as a public class. Public class employee. So this employee class available to this current assembly as well as outside of the project assembly. In this class, I'm going to have here, right, private member is string, right, or private. Here I'm using int, that is emp, right. I have code or emp id, right, or any other things. You can have it. So I'm having the emp, what is it? ID. This is the one class field. Class field. So we'll create with underscore emp ID. And I'm going to achieve encapsulation. This field I do not want to expose outside of the class. We'll be exposing via their public property, right? Private string employee has their first name. First name. Private string employee has their what? Last name. Right. Employee ID, first name, and what is it? Last name. Private string employee has their gender, he or she. These are the personal information, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Employee has their salary. Private double employee has their salary. All right. Also, I'm going to have employee some contact information. So here I'm going to have private, private, and keeping the what is it? Nothing but string, right? Email ID, email, right? ID or email address, we can say. Email address. Next, private is string, what is it? Underscore contact number, mobile number, right? So I will use mobile number. I'm taking string so that I can have into any format, right? If you want to take integer, you can take integer. But string taking means any value can store, and according to your local, according to your country and all, you can format into some specific format. So using a string type only, but according to requirement, the type can be changed. So these two comes under what? Contact information, and initially comes for what? Personal information. Like this, you may have educational information. You might have the right last work experienced information, right? All keeping into this. Now I need to have the property. So here public, public int, property name emp id with getter and setter. So in this property need to have implementation. It's coming down here. Then we are going to have get. In the get what? Return underscore what is it? emp id. And for setting value, set what is it? Underscore emp id equals to value. Before passing this value, you want to validate the value emp id is more than 0, then only set to emp id property and all. Earlier we have discussed that you can do it. At the time of encapsulation, already have been discussed. Hope you remember. Similarly, I'm going to have the what is it? First name, last name, gender, salary. All the other private which can be exposed via the property. So public here what? Return type is string. The property name, what is it? First name. return underscore, what is it? First name. And here underscore first name equals to value. Next, here I'm going to have return type string, the property name, what is it? Last name. Last name, right? And here return what? Underscore last name. Here underscore last name equals to value. Next we have, I think so, gender, right? So here return type of the property is what? String. Property name, what is it? Gender, G capital. Here return underscore gender, what? Contain the value. Here underscore gender equals to value. If setting new gender, then setting to this one. Next we have a salary. This type return type double. Property name, what is it? Salary. Return here underscore, what is it? Salary. Here underscore salary equals to value. All given. All right. Next, email address string type, mobile number string type. So these two property also create. It is for contact information. So here is string. Here using, what is it? Nothing but property name, email address. Right. Here underscore email address. And here underscore email address equals to, what is it? Value. Then next, here we have, what is it? Mobile number we have. Yes. Mobile number. You get return underscore, what is it? Mobile number. And here, right, here return type to be what? String, as we have used. Yes. Underscore mobile number. Fine. All properties are ready. Now we need, what is it? One method I'm creating. Display employee details. Right. Display full name. First name plus last name will combine as a full name. So one method creating public void, right? Full name. Or I want to return something, right? Then what is it? Public return type string. Full name is a method. And this is what? Return, that is what? Underscore first name, right? Underscore first name plus one white space, right? Instead of this one, you can use what is it? Interpolated string. That how we can use at the rate, right? This one. In this, right, what? Interpolation. There is a curly brace open, curly brace close. This interpolated string here, right? Right. Underscore first name, right? Space, and in this use underscore, what is it? Last name. Not at the rate. At the rate for verbatim string. What is it? The dollar. Right. That's all. Right. So here what coming? Does not exist in the current context.
Double in.
Remove this. So now this both concatenated and automatic white space we are given, not using the plus symbol to white space. So whenever you want to get the full name, this will concatenate, return the full name. This is the one method. Now below we have one method, public void. Here display employee personal details. Display employee personal details is a method. In this console dot write line of console dot write line of giving, what is it? Heading employee personal details, right? All right. And below console dot write line of, you wanted display first name, last name, gender, salary. This all comes under, what is it? Employee ID, comes under what is that? Your personal details, right? So here, employee ID, and here we will use what the place holder 0 and comma the argument value. What is it? Underscore. What is it? EMP ID. Right. Similarly, we can have here this. I want what is it? Name. I'm not writing first name, last name. Name. Name nothing but full names. Here, what call the method? That is what full name method called. The returns what? First name plus last name. Right. Yes. Then we have console dot right line of here. What is it? Gender. Gender. And here what? Underscore gender. This is the class field in this value coming via property. Next, we have salary. That is what? Salary. Right. And here required underscore salary. This all comes under what? Personal details. Now, I want to have a method for what is it? Contact info. Right. Display contact details. This method also created. Display employee. What details? Contact details. So employee heading is what? Contact details. And here employee ID display. And what display? Email address. Through email we can contact. And here what? Underscore email address. Then here what we have? Mobile number. Mobile number. And here what? Underscore mobile number. This is not needed. So these are all related to employee unit, employee class, keeping into one place only, one file only. So see, by keeping like this, the file becoming slowly lengthy, more complex. Right or not?
Yes, sir.
So this is the code what we are going to have it here. Right. So this is a very simple employee class having some fields, properties, and methods. Right.
Yes, sir.
Having few fields.
I have one doubt.
Yes.
For mobile number, the return type is int, right?
You joined late, I think so, right? You joined late, right?
Yes.
Whenever I ask, then it will not reply, right? Whenever you ask, then I should reply. This is not the way. Right. So say yes. Already I've explained.
Okay.
Already I've explained. Mobile number may be different format letter people want to do. So on a string, we can do easily any formatting, but on number, we cannot do easily formatting. Moreover, mobile number is a 10-digit. If you use int type, int comes under int 32. It has minimum range to maximum range. Check it. Your 10-digit can be fall into that minimum to maximum range, then you can use it. Moreover, on mobile number, you are not going to do any arithmetic calculation, plus, minus, multiplication, division, right?
Yes, sir.
So best option, you can have the string type letter in which format you want it to represent. The formatting can be done easily on a string type, and we can display that. If you still say that, no, I do not want to do that formatting and all, I want to have the numeric type, because mobile number have 10-digit only, right? In India especially, then you can have the all type, integer type available, see the range. Not suitable, then go for long range, and you can define the type according to that. So according to your business development need in real time, it will be changed.
Okay, sir.
Right. And a small request, if you people not reply for my query, then I'm not bothered about your question to reply. This is the bad experience I'm getting in daily into this class. Whenever I ask last session what we discussed, number of people listen my statement, but nobody reply except one or two rare case. So that create very much painful to me, right? Here I'm taking initiative to discuss each and every topic in the CSR what we have in details, not like simply formality purpose, give you a headline and syntax and say it is completed, right? So it is not for me, it is for you people. For me, God has given a great knowledge to me and I'm able to manage my knowledge and all, and my life is going good, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand why people not reply in the class. Look like if they reply, they lose money or they lose any health issue or they get any new disease into their body or what. I don't understand. That too also only yes or no. Even the English is very poor, then also people can answer at least yes or no. But don't know. But you people ask question and expecting that immediately I should be reply to your query. And if I do not reply here, I do not reply into WhatsApp, then you get angry. I have given a message to him, he did not reply to me. Think in the same way, whenever he asks me, we are not replying, then how he used to feel that. Think. If you are a real person, if you are a real human being, then if you are not human being, you are non-human being, then no any question to you. But sometimes think by close your eye, realize that whether he is right or he is wrong. He's doing this much of hard work, he's delivering this much of concept, right? For our career or for his career. Just ask question to yourself. Come to the point. This is a very simple employee class having many private fields, properties, and the what? Methods. Having many properties, having many properties, many fields. Second, having many fields, right? Properties and methods. So this is a very simple employee class having many fields, properties, and methods. Okay. Maybe in the 2 field, 2 property, 2 methods, or 4 field, 4 properties, 4 methods, or whatever it may be. Right. Let us use the above class in our main method. In main method, we have to create the object of the class, right? Then we can access their properties and methods. We can access their property and methods. Right. Wait, here power has cut. All right. So this is a very simple employee class having many fields, many properties, and many methods. Let's use the above class in our main method. Right. As shown below. So going to the main method of the program class. Yes. Here we are going to write one employee object going to create. Of the what type? Employee type. Employee. Employee one object is one employee equals to new instance of employee. Thereafter, you are not required now to speak. Whenever I ask question, that time speak, please. Employee one object is ready now. Employee one dot employee ID. Employee ID equals to the ID is what 101 just for testing purpose. Next. employee one dot, we have the first name. What is the name of the employee? Name of the employee is John. Next, employee one dot last name, that is Smith. Employee one dot gender, the person is male and he's getting salary at present 25,000 per month. Right.
Yes, sir.
Thereafter, employee one, he has contact address, email address, that is John dot Smith @ gmail.com. Employee one dot his mobile number, as I've given string types, must be in double quotation. Maybe you want to write something with country code plus 91 like this. So this kind of formatting you can write into string type, not into what is it? Integer type, a long type, right? So giving 89191368822. Right. All using properties, setting the information of employee one. Then here writing the employee one dot display employee personal details. Employee one dot, what is it? Contact details, individual available. It is individual available, right? Personal
Yes, sir.
details and what contact details. You may create one method which display both, which display what is it? Both if required. Fine. Right now nothing extra than this. Save it and try to what is it? Run the application. It will give output to you personal details and what is it? Contact details of one employee. So run the application and see it will give the below output, right? Employee personal details and employee contact details displayed. Perfect.
Yes.
This is the what code writing. So far we have not used anywhere partial class concept. So run the application and see it will give the output as shown below. Right. So running the application, something like this output display. We did not get any problems so far. Okay. This is what generally we do that. But now what we are going to do that to get the same output, people say this employee class becoming more complex, more lengthy. The file become more larger. Do we have any provision? This a file we can split into two different files and logically should be counted as only one class. So by this way, in a team environment in the industry, more than one programmer can work on the same class. You may work with the what is it? Contact information related property methods, and one person can work on the personal details related information. Another person can work with the address. Another person can work with the work space related. At a time on the same class, which is a very large class with a large number of information, 3-4 member working. So I think so within a few minute times only it gets completed. If only one person does, then takes more time. And if the partial class concept not available, so this class all containing field, property, methods required to kept into one file. And one file at a time only one person can access. At a time only one person can work on the file. Right? Cannot be right accessed and worked by the number of person into the team environment, in the network sharing environment, right? But by having the partial class concept, we can split into physical 2-3 files, 4 file, 5 file. and simultaneously more than one programmer can work on different files. So they are working on different file, but ultimately all together going to become for the one class only. So by this way, development become easy, especially for large application, complex application, where we have complex class with plenty of fields, properties, and method. Instead of keeping into one file, we can keep in physically 2-3 files related to different information. Like we have personal and contact. So I can have one file with the personal, one file with the contact, and both file pointing out to which class? One class. The name is what? Employee class. Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is the concept. See, here is splitting, right, the above class definition into two different files, two different physical files. Right. Observe. Now we will split. Now we will split. Now we will split the employee class definition into two different physical files. One class file is right related to our personal details, right, and the other class file is related, what is it? Nothing but contact related details, right? So one class file is dealing with fields, properties and methods. One class file is dealing with fields, properties and methods related to what is it? Personal details. And the second one, and the other, nothing but second one, and other, nothing but second one, class file is dealing with what? Fields, some properties, methods related to contact details. By this way, for anybody working on this class is very much easy, and moreover, more than one person simultaneously in the team environment can work on the same class. One person can work with the what is a personal, one person can work with the what? Contact, right? So in less time, the class gets completed with the help of two persons simultaneously who are working, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. All right. So now what we'll do that? How we'll do this? We will delete this employee.cs file later. Right click on the console app one, add new item. Suppose delete the employee class file from the project, then we need to add two class file with the name, what is it? Employee personal details, personal info.cs, employee contact info.cs, right? So class, here I'm giving employee personal info.cs, one file. By default, create in this file class name with what name? Employee personal info. But we will change class name, could be employee only, but they're all related information. We are keeping two different files for the same class, right? So console app one, once again, add new item, and which item? Here giving class item, employee, contact info dot cs, employee contact info dot cs. By default, create one file with another class, but what we will do manually. So here the point, let me write first, delete the employee.cs class file from the project, then we need to add two class files with the name employee personal info.cs, right? Employee personal info.cs and employee contact info.cs, right? To do so, simply you do right click on the project and add a class file with the name that is first one, employee personal info.cs. All right. And in this we will have the code, right? All right. Which code will have? Those code which are related to what is it? Personal information related fields, properties and methods. So what I'm saying, to do is right click on the project and add a class file with the name employee personal info.cs and what is it? Employee contact info.cs. Right. All right. Then next, what we'll do? We'll modify the code part, right?
Yes, sir.
Now we need to modify. The code as shown below, or as follows. So let's come over here. First, employee.cs, this entire code I'll keep separately in a notepad. Later I can do copy paste because again if I write take more time. And employee.cs, this must be removed. Employee person information.cs. Here make what to make partial class.
Yes, sir.
I was
Yes.
disconnected.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're talking about now we need to modify the code as a following. For first file, employee personal info.cs file. Right. How? Coming to this place. Class name need to modify. So writing here what? Public partial public partial class, and then class name is employee one. So class name is what? Employee. Into which file? Employee person info. It's become partial. If you make this class with a partial, it means this class once again, right, can be kept into other file. Does not mean there's a new class. There's the same class with other member, other field, other methods. And in this, what we are going to keep, we are going to keep these field. Right. Here. And these field related properties, EMPID, first name, last name, gender, salary. This will keep into the what? Here. And thereafter, we are going to have this full name method, a display employee personal details method also as a part of this class in this file. Done this. Save it, copy this. I'm keeping here. This is my personal info.cs. And now next one. Adding the what is that? Employee contact info.cs. So come to the next file, second file. Here remove this, write public partial class name employee only. So employee class only, but in two different physical file, one for personal info, one for what? Contact info. Right. But class is only one. So physically two file, but logically the class is only one. That is basically what? Partial. So we have created, in this we are going to have, these two field, email address and the what? Mobile number. And we have encapsulated exposing via the public property, that is email address and a mobile number. These two public property we're going to have here. Next, below this display contact details method, right? This we are keeping here. So see, your class has been split with the all field property method in two different physical file, but logically these all belong to only one unit, that is one class. The class name what? Employee. So
Employee.
once you compile
Yes, sir.
the program, so these two file containing the all code for the same class, so going to become as one unit. In the one unit, right, all field property method are going to come. But physically, we kept as a programmer into two different files. So one programmer can work on this file, another programmer can work on this file, right? And moreover, both are working for the same class, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So remember, both physical files should have the class name same, right? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now what required? Now modify the what? Now modify the what is it? Main method of the program class, right? So here keep it. Now writing. Now modify the what is it? Main method. Main method of the which class? Program class as shown below. To use the what is that? Employee class, which is the partial employee class, right? So go to the program class, main method. See any error coming? Employee one, question new employee one dot emp salary. Even the email address also accessible, mobile number accessible, because it kept into two different files, but logically both are having the word same class. So in this file, in the employee class, what we have filled property method, right? And in this file, employee class have what filled property method. All belong to only one class, right? That's what this is unchanged, right?
Yes.
And here, employee one dot display employee personal details method getting called, employee one dot display employee contact details method getting called, right? So it is unchanged. Right. Now run the application and see the output. Same output you get. Now run the application and see the output. Right. As shown below. Right. So running, and we are able to see the output. This is all about partial class. So in real-time application for big complex, big enterprise application, complex application, where we have large class with many properties, many field, many methods, relating with the related different information, right? So they are going to split into multiple physical files by using the concept of partial class. Right.
Yes.
That's all. Now people ask question, when do we need to use the partial class? I told just now, if you're working with a large project where class is very big one, and that contain number of property methods filled for related to different operations. So why don't you split according to operation into multiple physical files? Into multiple, what is it? Physical, what is it? File. So interview question, when do we need to use partial class in C#? So you must say there are several situations when we need to go for partial class by splitting into two or more than two physical files. Like when working on the large projects, so there is a possibility we are going to work with one class, and the class is very big one that may have many fields, many property method, many methods, deal with the different related operations. So according to related operation, why don't we split the class into multiple physical file so that one programmer can be appointed in a team environment to work on the one file, and another programmer can be appointed to work on another file, and ultimately both are working for the same class, but the person working for the one related information field property methods, another person working related to another property field methods for another related operations, right? So by this way, development become easy. So whenever we wanted to make, right, simultaneously multiple programmer to work on the same class, then required to split the class into two or more than two separate files, right? And for that we have a concept in the .NET C# called partial class, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the only answer you are going to give
Partial.
about the partial class when I require to use.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Clear the point. So I can write a statement for you. When do we need to use partial class in C#? So you can simple answer one statement, sir, when working on large project, complex project, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Complex or large project, right, is splitting a class over separate files, separate physical files allows multiple programmers programmers to work on it simultaneously. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Simultaneously. Yes. And that makes your development to be faster, and moreover, tomorrow maintenance also going to be easy and fast, right?
Yes.
So productivity level will increase because the things getting completed in less time, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. All right. Now there are important point we need to remember about the which class? Partial class. And one more things we need to remember, with the help of partial classes, I told just now multiple programmer, the multiple developers can work simultaneously in the same class by having a different files. Because one file cannot be accessed or modified at the same time by the number of programmers, but multiple files available. So one person can work on the one file, another person can work on the what? Another file, right? Yes. So with the help of partial class concept, you can split the right your code into multiple physical files
Yes.
to make simplification of the code, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the requirement to use the what is it?
Partial class.
Partial what is it? Class. You can also maintain your application in an efficient manner by compressing the large classes into small ones, right?
Yes, sir.
We can also maintain our application in an efficient manner by compressing the what? Large classes into what is it? A small one. How? By splitting into two or more than two physical files. Clear the point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. There are some rules you need to follow when working with the partial class in C#. So here, what is it? Important note. Important notes or important points we can say, which you need to always remember. All the parts spread across different class file must use the word partial keyword, right or not? So we have two different files right now for the same class. So both file, the class should have the word keyword, partial keyword. Otherwise, the compiler error is raised, missing partial modifier, another partial declaration of this type exists. So if you remove this partial keyword from the one file, so personal available and the same class creating with other field, other property, other method into another file, the required partial keyword, but partial keyword you removed. So this become not a partial class, become main class. So if already main class available with employees, again we cannot have this partial class, no employee, right? Save it.
Yes, sir.
And see the word error coming. Missing partial modifier on a declaration of type employee. Another partial declaration of this type already exists. Right. So this is the what? One point you need to always remember. So here,
Yes, sir.
point number one, all the parts spread across different class files must use the what is it? Must use the partial keyword. Otherwise, uh, compiler error is what is it? Raised. Compiler error is raised. That is, what is it? Missing what? Partial modifier. Partial modifier. Another partial declaration of this type exists, right? This error message will come to you. Compiler error, and already we are able to see here. See, mouse over on this. Missing partial modifier on declaration of type. The type is what? Your employee. Another partial declaration of this type, what is it? Exist. Right. So missing partial modifier on declaration of type. On declaration of what is it? Type. On declaration of what is it? Type. Here some type name will be there. Okay, now. Here some type name will be there. Another partial declaration of this type already what is it? Exists. See here. Right. Missing partial modifier on declaration of type name employee. In your case, maybe something else. Another partial declaration of this type exists. So here I'm giving partial. And partial keyword before the class keyword, not after the class keyword. Right. All right. All the partial, all the parts spread across different files, we must have the same access specifier. If here public use, in this one also will be public. Suppose here not using public, then by default the class in C# is what? Internal. If not use any access specifier or modifier, right?
Yes.
Here,
Yes,
internal. Here what you have given? Public, right? Let's see, build the application. Did not show any error, build succeeded. Because right now accessibility level is what? Within this project assembly, anywhere this can be accessed. But you specify explicitly here as a protected, right? Partial class employee, and here available explicitly what? Public. So public protected, it will become different, right? See what's coming. Partial declaration of employee have conflicting accessibility modifier, right?
Yes.
Because protected has different accessibility level, right or not?
Yes, sir.
So this error will come. That's the point I'm trying to tell you. One important point which you need to remember, that is what? All the parts are spread across different class file, right?
Yes, sir.
Must have the same access specifier. Must have the same access specifier or access modifiers, right?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, compiler error is raised. That is, let's see the error. Partial declaration have conflicting, right? Accessibility modifiers. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Partial declaration have conflicting accessibility modifier. This is the what error going to come. So these 2 points everybody must need to remember it.
Yes,
Right
sir.
or not?
Yes, sir.
जी sir.
If any of the parts are declared as abstract, which we'll discuss about abstract class, then entire type is considered as what? Abstract. Or if any of the parts are declared as sealed, then the entire type is considered as what class? Sealed class. Sealed means the sealed class, which is the final class. Later on, it cannot be extended by inheriting from any other class, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Suppose here remove this, make it public only. Public partial class employee, right? I'm going to public partial sealed here, give it sealed, right? Sealed, I think is the beginning I have to give. Here I'm giving. So if sealed applied onto employee class into one file, so wherever this parser class is used in different file, entire type is become sealed, right? It's also sealed only, right? Not required to give again sealed here, right or not? If here defined as abstract, entire type for all physical file, this employee class abstract class, right or not?
Yes, sir.
So that's the point you need to understand as a third important point, third important note. If any of the parts, we have two physical file parts. Any of the parts are declared as, suppose, abstract. If any of the parts are declared as what is it? Abstract. Then entire type is considered as what is it? Abstract only. Or if any of the parts, what is it? Parts are declared as what? Sealed. We'll discuss in detail about sealed and abstract, but right now point came, I'm discussing sealed is a final class. Sealed class, when to create, when do not want to give permission, this class to be further can be extended by inheriting from the other class, right? You want to make full and final class, then what is it? Sealed. For example, I'm telling you, have you noticed in your village, in your town, nearby your city, any place, wherever you're staying, any new house construction goes? Have you seen any house construction going on?
Yes,
When house construction going on, so see, nowadays house getting constructed into the anywhere, right? By using pillar system. They give pillar from the ground, right? Suppose pillar given this corner, one middle pillar, one last corner pillar they're given, right?
Yes.
And the room height should be 12 feet. So 12 feet pillar they have given. Now to make the room, right, between the pillar they put number of bricks, right, become the wall, right or not?
Yes.
And on the roof they do the false ceiling, right?
Yes.
But if it is who is constructing house, they think that I'm constructing ground floor. Now maybe after few years I'll construct one more floor, that's the first floor above, one more floor, second floor. So the pillar what going on, so pillar what you call saria, that will be going up level, right? Something will be up level there, that's not sealed fully, right or not? Something like this, more clearer to understand, right? This is the my nothing but base. Here one pillar, right? Here one pillar, and suppose this is my actual height of the floor should be there. See, here false ceiling happened. So false ceiling happened. This pillar all saria, right, is going up level, right or not? Up level.
Yes, sir.
They are living like this, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Why they are living? Again, in future, you want to construct second floor, third floor. So in this saria only, they will join the other saria, right?
Yes, sir.
Joint,
Yes, sir.
right? This joint. They fill up all the cement and brick, a small
Yes, sir.
stone, right? So one more pillar is ready. Same thing they do here also,
Yes, sir.
right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And again here, what is it? One false ceiling happened, right?
Yes, sir.
If they reach to third floor, fourth floor, they have decided this is a final. I do not have any plan for in future to make fifth floor, fourth floor only there, and I have permission from government only for the fourth floor or fifth floor. So if that's the last floor and there is no any right plan for the what is it next one more floor, so last floor this area will not go up, they'll be bind up here only, they'll close this one, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
They'll close here, right? And they make the plaster, they make plaster with the cement. It means this is the final, again further cannot be extended because this is the blocked, this is sealed, right? If sealed, again pillar cannot be stand there, right or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
If
Ji,
pillar
sir.
is not able to stand, a new floor cannot be constructed, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
That is the meaning of sealed, yes or no?
Ji.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if any of the parts are declared as what is it? Sealed, then the entire type is considered as what is it? Sealed. Or if any of the parts inherit, right or not, or if any of the parts, right, inherit a class, right, inherit class, then the entire type inherits that class. So what I'm saying, if any of the parts are declared as what is it? Sealed, then the entire type is considered as what? Sealed. So here I have made sealed one part. So entire employee type either kept into one file or multiple physical file will treat as a sealed class. If suppose one part, nothing but this file is one part, class inherit from the one class called program or one class ABCD or one class demo ABCD, just imagine that. So if this is inheriting from the demo, then does not mean that only this part is inheriting. Entire type employee is inheriting from the which class? Demo class. Right or not?
Yes, sir.
Right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Right.
If you made a sealed here, then this cannot inherit from the any other type, right or not?
Yes, sir.
No. If you make here sealed, so this class can inherit, but this class cannot be inherited by other class. Got my point?
Other class. Yes, sir.
Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Ji, sir.
So these three important point is very, very clear.
Yes, sir.
Ji, sir.
Right. Once we learn the what you call nothing but inheritance
Inheritance.
concept, that time we'll see there is no multiple inheritance supports. There is no what is that?
Yes. Multiple.
Multiple enablers.
Inheritance supports, right?
Yes, sir.
Caesar does not support multiple class inheritance. Different parts of the partial class must not specify different base classes.
Ji, sir.
Sir.
Suppose this class employee inheriting from the one base class called demo. Then in this physical file, this employee, you cannot derive from the word same, right or not?
Ji, sir.
Yes, sir.
If one place inherit from the one base, then entire type is inheriting from the base type, right?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
So partial declaration must not specify the different base class. So example, in this file, I'm going to have add one more class. The class is just for testing purpose demo.cs demo class. Let it be as it is. Come to this place. Here I'm giving colon inherit from demo. So for employee who become the what we call nothing but a base class
Base
demo.
class. Demo.
Right. What's coming? Inconsistent accessibility level. Achha, right. So here demo, this also make as a public. Right. Now observe. Right. So this class inheriting from the what? Demo. Right.
Demo class.
Demo is the base.
Yes, sir.
जी
So
सर
in this part, in a contact info file, this class also inheriting from the word demo by default, right? Here not required again give colon demo. So cannot have two base class for the two different places, right or not?
जी सर
Yes, sir.
Build the application. Even the keeping also, right? Error not coming, but it's confusing, right or not?
Yes,
जी
sir.
सर
Right. So partial declaration must not specify different base classes. But right now, same base class there, no? This is demo class, a demo class. This is no error because same base class available, right? But
जी
I'm
Yes,
going to
sir.
have one more class here, public class sample, open close. And in this file, this derived from the demo base class. In this file also same, no problem. This is correct, right? Anyhow, not required to keep two places. One place kept automatic allow for all the time, right or not? But here I'm keeping no show. But I'm going to make this one from where? Sample class. So what happening? Your same type trying to inherit from the what class? Base class and sample class, right or not?
Yes, sir.
So this is comes under what example? Multiple class inheritance, right?
Yes.
C# does not support multiple class inheritance. To support multiple class inheritance, need to take the help of inheritance concept, right or not? Sorry, interface concept,
Interface.
right?
Yes.
So this is giving error at this place. You observe what? Partial declaration of this type must not
Yes, sir.
specify different base
Base
class.
class.
So required what? Same base class, not different base class,
Base
right?
class.
One more
Yes, sir.
point, one more important point is there to remember, that is C# does not support what? Multiple class, what is it? Inheritance, right or not? Different parts of the what is it? Partial class must not specify what? Different what is it? Base
Base
class,
class.
right or not?
Yes, sir.
Different what is it? Base,
Base class.
what is it?
Yes,
Classes.
sir. Yes, sir.
Here below and the same line, the following code will raise a compiler error, that is what is it? Partial declaration, partial declaration, right? Must
Yes, sir.
not specify what? Different what is it? Base class. Got my
Base
point?
class. Yes, sir.
Right, see this. Partial declaration of this type must not specify the different base class.
Yes, yes.
Base classes, right? So which code? Maybe you have what is it? One public, you have public class name demo, okay, and below you have
Yes, sir.
public class name sample,
Simple.
and you have below your partial class, something like this, public partial class employee, right?
Mhm.
From what is it? Demo, right? And below
Yes,
this,
sir.
from the where?
Simple.
Sample. So you'll get the error. This code
Yes,
will give the
sir.
compile time error.
Yes, sir.
All right. So different parts of the right partial class must not specify different base classes.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
But different parts of the partial class can specify different base interfaces and the final type implement all of the interface listed by all of the partial declaration. Got my point or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Because multiple inheritance we achieve using the help of our interface, na?
Interface.
Yes,
sir.
yes. That possible. Here, different, we will discuss about interface also. Different parts of the, what is it? Partial class can specify different, what is it? Base interfaces.
Interface. Yes.
And the final type, what is it? Implement all of the what is it? Interfaces listed by all of the partial declaration, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Right. See the example. Right. I have an interface, public,
Yes, sir.
interface. I have suppose iDemo. What is it? Demo. Public interface iDemo. Open and close. In this, you might have one method, right? Without body. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Some method you might be have, right? And below, I have one more interface, public interface iSample, just for testing purpose, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Below we have one partial class, this partial class, right? This, right? Going to implement, what is it? iDemo. So in this required here, what is it? This method, whatever available, required implement, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Required, what is it? Method implementation. Here required, what is it? Method, what is it? Implementation. Method implementation. Got my point? Method, what is it? Implementation. And I have one more, right, partial class. In another file, this implement, what is iSample, right? It is possible. Yes, it is possible. Got my point? And in iSample, what available here method that required implement over here, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So with the help of this interface, multiple inheritance we are achieving. So any members that are declared in a partial definitions are available to all of the other parts of the partial class. Once we understand partial class, right, fully, then you can understand next part is what? Partial method in C#. So hope the partial class concept what we have learned today and important points to remember, everybody clear with this, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And remember, every parts of the partial class definition should be in the same assembly and same namespace. But if you want, you can use a different source of file name, right or not? File name can be
Yes, sir.
different, but it must be in the same namespace, same assembly, right?
Yes, sir.
That is what we are having a two different files, but into what is the same namespace? Here also what? Same namespace, right or not?
Yes, sir.
This is not
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
right. Here namespace console app1, but here give the namespace console app11, right? Save it and remove this, right? Now build the application. Error is coming or not? Employee class does not contain definition. Is this namespace problem, right? So must be what? In the same namespace, right?
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
And the user is also allowed to use nested partial type. Nested, what is that? Partial.
Partial type.
Right. So these things you need to remember it, right? Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I will share this session. You can complete it by going through this so that you can understand and you can remember and all you can implement at your end. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll discuss partial methods in C sharp. Okay.